Society today, it's all about, there's a standard where you go to university and you get a degree and you have this assumption that, you did 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that when you came out of it you were going to have a job, and even if it was in the arts, you kind of felt you'll find something, and there should be lots of creative people out there doing amazing creative things. When I finished university, there was literally, I was scoping all the job websites and there was nothing there, and I got really down. I mean, quite a black hole really. And so I got back into insolvency, which I'd done since I was 16, just to get the money really. And I was thinking, there's got to be more than this. I mean, for some people that was their favourite job, and I could see that, you know what I mean? I could see that it was a great job for some people, but for me, I just needed something else, and it didn't quite feel fulfilling at all. And I thought, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna chase the whole acting dream, which is what I'd trained to do and what I always wanted to do. And I remember phoning my dad and saying, Dad, I've done something a bit crazy. I've quit my job and I'm going to be an actor. And he said, well, what are you going to do? Get a paper round? And I remember feeling so even more determined, to the point where I was thinking, no, I know that, there's got to be something out there when you watch the television, or you think there's these people are working for somebody. So, and within 3 weeks, I had an agent, and within 6 weeks, I was on Hollyoaks. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it was acting, and from something that I thought would never happen, to get that was great really. And it just shows not giving up and just keeping going with it. When I went for the casting for Hollyoaks, it was the coldest day of the year, really bitterly cold, and I'd glammed myself. I mean, they outlined in the brief that they were looking for some glamorous girl, you know what I mean? So I'd gone to town on this. I mean, I were a good 8 years younger than this. So I gets there, anyway, I've stepped outside and I'm thinking it's freezing, and there's a long walk up to Hollyoaks, a very long walk, and where I've parked, I've gone round, and anyway I'm walking, and as I'm walking the snow's coming down, and if you've got afro hair you know that it doesn't stay nice and slick and smooth. By the time I'd got to the end of the driveway, my hair was all over. Now, I don't know what I did in the casting. I know it was based on talent that day, because there was no way they were picking me. My makeup was down here, my hair was all in a mess. But so when I got that call from my agent about a week later saying they really liked it, they want to go ahead with you. Really? I couldn't actually believe it. And because it was my first big job, TV job, obviously Channel 4, and getting your foot in with something like Line Pictures is quite big, so it was like, what? And I had great pleasure in ringing my dad to say, that paper round, don't think I'll be needing it. But even since getting an agent and doing the work, there's been times again, where I've gone 3 to 6 months without work, and anyone that loves working knows what that feels like. And again, you can get yourself into that dark place, but I think once you've got yourself out of it once, and actually things will get better eventually, or you keep pushing on, and so I have. And for the past year I've done nothing but the acting, whereas before I was kind of topping it up with, I was doing other things as a full-time job, and whereas for the past year that's all I've focused on, and I've made it, not made it, but I don't get the whole making it thing. I get a lot of advert stuff. I must just look like I like sitting on sofas, because I must have represented nearly every furniture company in the land. But you can't complain at that. It's hard because you don't see a character from start to finish and the journey that they go on. But essentially it's difficult because you do a lot more takes, they're looking at it from a different angle, and you've got to repeat that every single time, that elation of, this is so comfy. No, it's not. You know what I mean? You need to get this sorted, the springs in this, that kind of thing, but you just got to keep smiling on it. So I do a lot of adverts, really. But in recent weeks, I've been put forward for a lot more drama castings, like Scott and Bailey and things like that. So it's changing, the landscape's changing, and thankfully, I've kind of earned my stripes a bit in the whole commercial stuff, and I'll get work off the back of other work, working with different producers. And now I'm moving into avenues that I hadn't really explored before. So the presenting thing came about by accident. A friend of mine was doing it, and she said they're looking for a presenter and want to have a good representation of a good ethnic mix. Do you want to put a video forward? They'd already had the casting, hadn't found what they were looking for. So I sent a video just thinking nothing of it, And 2 weeks later, she came back and said, they want to hire you. I said, well, did they not want to meet me first? It's live, I could say anything. I could say any, you know, that kind of thing. No, you've got it. I was just like, what? I know that I couldn't have done that job, say, 8 years ago because I wasn't as skilled at all. I've definitely learnt the craft as I've been in the game, you know what I mean? I look at what ultimately can make me happy. I mean, I think it's very difficult when you're in a dark place whether you actually can see anything that's happy, but in those times music has had a massive part to play in making me feel better, and those around me, I know that those love me even when I can't necessarily feel that. And I've thankfully had the friends or my family to pull me through it, but it's knowing that even though I don't feel right now, and I might not feel right tomorrow or even next week, that it's got to change at some point, because ultimately it's about balance, and I think it does come around eventually.